Hey everyone, it is Dave. Welcome in. It's time for modules 9 and 10. We are through the halfway point of the semester, which is awesome, and we have some fun topics as well. Module 9 is going to cover photography and printmaking. Those are grouped together because they produce multiple copies of the artwork. And it's kind of an interesting thing to consider when we have like painting and sculpture and drawing only producing one unique work. So today, this week, we're dealing with multiple artworks. Module 10, art theft, looting, repatriation. That is the area of art that I'm most interested in. In fact, what you're going to see is a professional lecture that I did about 3 years ago on the subject. And it's something that there's romantic elements, there's power elements, there's, of course, money elements, all involved with stealing art. It's something that happened years ago in ancient civilizations. It happened last week, and guess what? It's going to happen next week as well. Art theft is something that is just continually going on. So it's a really interesting topic, and I do hope you enjoy that. As far as work goes this week, we have our discussion board, we have our quiz just like normal, but we also have a photography project. I'm going to send you out into the world and shoot some photos for this project. It is the first time I am having this project done, so I'm interested in seeing the results that I get from you. I did give it an extra week flexibility because I'm still grading collages, but hopefully I'll be done with those soon. And with that, let's head over to the Canvas site. I'll walk you through modules 9 and 10. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. I'm going to go ahead and activate modules 9 and 10 so you have access to them. Module 9, we've got lectures on printmaking, our study guide. It is essential to watch the further exploration videos. There are one for each of the 5 different printmaking processes we're going to cover. Relief, intaglio, lithography, silk screening, and monotypes. And so please watch each of these videos to show you how they're created. I talk you through during the lecture on how they're created, but it's much more of a visual thing. So check those out. The lecture on photography, the study guide, and here for the further exploration, we have a link to Sally Mann's website, a reading on early photography. The most important video is this one here on how daguerreotypes are made. Also, a little bit better explanation on how a camera obscura works. Video on Sally Mann down here, and an exhibition we had at Cal State Fullerton, gosh, many years ago, probably 10 years ago now, on morning photography. Let's jump down to the journal real quick. And the journal is just having you do a reading on this Personal Credo by Ansel Adams. It's a fairly short reading, and you're just going to develop 3 interview questions that you would like to ask Ansel Adams if you could. And the questions do need to relate to the material in the paper. So let's take a look at the discussion board. So here, what I would like you to do, and this is after you watch the photography lecture, is you're going to share a photographer with your group whose work you think is impactful and that you also share the same culture with. Please do not use any photographer in the lecture, on the study guide, or in the examples below. By October 27th, that's when the post is due. You're going to create a post that has a photograph. Then you're going to write a short paragraph about where you found out about them, why you think their work is impactful, provide a little background or biographical info of them as well. And then a second paragraph is what culture they share with you. Now, keep in mind, culture is a very broad term. A lot of us just think about it in terms of race and religion, but it's much more broad than that. And I would normally suggest you focus on your hobbies. Those work really, really well. Because whatever hobby we have, there's generally a photographer that's involved with that. If you only choose to write about that you're the same race, ethnicity, religion, you're not going to get full points for this category. So this is a much deeper research project. For part 2, you're just going to respond to another group member, and that needs to be done by November the 3rd. Keep in mind, we do want professional photographers, no one related to us, no one that worked on the school newspaper or anything like that. This is something that is, they do this for a living, they've won professional awards, they've had their work published, things like that. Information on uploading an image. Our disclaimer, because we are interacting with others, we want to choose works that are not going to be controversial. For grading, 5 points each for photographer, culture, research, and response. So this is a great example here. Perfect photo. First paragraph that deals with background information, the idea that this person's work is impactful, and then a follow-up paragraph on the culture that they share. A lot of students, they start writing about environmentalism, and that is great. But keep in mind that you also have to support your side of the culture as well. You can't just say, I'm interested in environmentalism. That's something that is pretty universal. So you have to say that I'm an environmental studies major, or I do beach cleanup on Saturdays, things like that, that also show your impact with the culture. And then we've got another one from another student. This person was interested in music. And keep in mind that, there's a lot of professional photographers that follow around your favorite musician or band. They do album covers. The same thing with sports teams. Every major sports team has a photographer. If you're into skating, if you're into surfing, if you're into race cars, all those groups have photographers devoted to them. And that's what I'm looking for this project. Now, the last thing we have to do, and I did extend the due date on this. So for November the 3rd, and you also have flexibility until November the 10th to turn this in, is our photography project. This is a little fun project that I gave over the summer. I taught an in-person Art 312 class, which is the history of modern art. And we begin with photography, and I sent my class out to take photos, and they did really, really well. So I kind of wanted to do that same thing here. What you're going to do is you're going to choose 10 options from the image list below. No more than 2 photos and their information per page. Each of your submission options should contain the photo, a caption, and then a few sentences regarding the photograph. So how the requirement is met, what the image is of, and where it was taken. This is an example from a past student who did contrast, talks about it here, and again, you're probably going to want to add a caption as well. So this one was great, going from a soft green landscape surface to a hard, more construction, man-made type of surface. It is worth 30 points. And again, official due date is the 3rd. Late due date is the 10th, but I'm not going to mark it late. I'm way behind in terms of grading. It's a little insane right now. We just had midterms in my in-person classes. Let's see. Office hours, regular this week, Monday and Wednesday, 4:30 to 7. That is the end of Module 9. All right, so here's Module 10. And once again, just the usual information up top. Office hours, going to be the same. Lecture on art theft, looting, and repatriation. I do not host this particular video. It was a professional lecture I did back in 2020. It was going to be in person, but, something happened. And so we were remote, but it's a great lecture on art theft. That is my area of expertise and interest and knowledge and research. Study guide, and then the further exploration section just has a few trailers to some videos on art theft, the rape of Europa, the Monuments Men, and finally the Woman in Gold, all of which I'll talk about during the lectures as far as what those refer to. The modules quiz, 20 questions, so roughly 7 questions each on art theft, printing, and photography. And then that does cover, again, modules 9 and 10. Journal entry number 10 is about an art theft article. So what I'm going to have you do is go to the library's website. You want to go to databases and you want to search for an article about art theft. And this can be a current article, it can be an older article, it doesn't matter. What's important is that there's about 500 or more words, probably no more than 2,500. Keep the project, realistic. I'll show you the ones, the databases that I will go to. There's also research assistance available if you're on campus. Obviously, they have a booth on the north side of the library, but also they have available via online as well. So we'll just go to the library's website here. You can go into articles. You can do the advanced search, which will give you an availability to do articles like this. What I normally do for me is I go down to this button here, databases, and you'll just click on that. And then if you are familiar with a database already, please go ahead and use that. Academic Search Premier, EBSCOhost, JSTOR, all of those are really common. Many of those, though, give you a little bit larger article because they're more professional articles. That's where you get the 2,500 words. And for me, that's a little bit too long of an article. I'm much more of a newspaper type article person. I jump over to US Newsstream. I think that's really, really well. You sometimes will be asked for username password. If that happens, it is the campus username password. But other than that, it should log you right in, and you can search things such as art theft in general. You can see that there's art theft in Iraq. After the Iraq War, there was a lot of issues with art being taken. International art theft. For me, I'm interested in Nazi art theft. I'm very into what happened to the art during World War II. And you're going to go ahead and maybe search that, and you'll have all these articles that come up. So, New York Museum must label Nazi looted art. That's actually a law that we have here already in California. And this article is 756 words long. That is a perfect amount of words. And also, what I ask you to do is also, besides summarizing this, grab a citation. Here's the citation button right here. It's just the quote button. And it already has, in this case, it's APA. And you can just cut and paste this. That's fine. If you want to go down to, let's see, MLA, that's fine. Turabian, that's fine too. Turabian and Chicago are pretty much the same. So if you want to, click on that, it'll provide the correct citation for you. But I'm just looking for, again, author, date, title, link. That's what I want. Copy and paste right into your journal. And that's what I need you to do for that project. I think that is everything for Module 10. That's a pretty short module. Gives you a little bit of flexibility to complete those that photography project. And that is everything. If you have any questions, of course, please stop by my office hours, drop me an email, and I will see you all shortly to talk about Modules 11 and 12.